It is time to read the best books of 2024, but it's according to Goodreads, so can we really trust them? Last year I started not only reading all the nominees for mystery thriller category in November, December of the year previous when the Goodreads Choice Awards are happening, but now I've started then in the new year reading all the winners because I want to put to the test, do these books actually deserve to win? Were they the best? Probably not. I mean, Goodreads Choice Awards is a popularity contest. It's usually the most well-known books that win, not necessarily the best, but anyways, I do like to read them because I think it's fun, I think it's exciting, I think it's really enjoyable participating in like a bookish event like this, so I really like to challenge myself to read all the winners. There is going to be probably one exception to this, which I'll see in a sec, that I'm granting myself, maybe this year and maybe forevermore. Maybe I will never read this category, if we're honest with ourselves.
The rules don't apply.
But anyways, shall we read them all? Find out together which of them actually deserve to be winners in my opinion, and let's just get into it. Let's go back into the past of me finding out what all the winners are. Hello friends, it is time to find out what the winners of the Goodreads Choice Awards 2024 are and what books I'm going to be reading. I am so excited. I've been waiting days. I have been filming my vlog, which I literally just uploaded last night, but you will have seen a while ago, where I read the top 10 for the mystery thriller category, and now I'm going to be reading the winners of every single category. And because I was waiting to see what the winner was for that category, I've been waiting to see what the winner is for every category. So I have no idea what's won for anything. I'm waiting, it's been killing me, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have a look. Also, just for fun and games, this is just for fun and games. This is just for shits and giggles. This isn't serious. But when the top 20 came out, and I did a live show reacting to it with my patrons, I predicted what I thought was going to win each category. Some of these I feel stronger on than others, but let's also just count how many of the, is it 15 categories? Let's just see how many of the 15 I got correct, shall we? I think that'll be fun. So first is going to be fiction. I predicted Intermezzo by Sally Rooney would win, but I don't feel necessarily like dead set on that. That hasn't been out super long and didn't have a lot of ratings, so I don't know if it's been read enough yet to have won. So let me click on fiction and let's see what won. The Wedding People. The Wedding People. Okay, I didn't get it right. Intermezzo came second. What is this about? This year's surprise sensation, improbably fun novel follows the adventures of a severely bummed out young woman who finds herself accidentally crashing a lavish wedding at a posh Rhode Island inn. Okay, sounds maybe funny. Okay, we're reading The Wedding People. To be honest, that works for me because I don't like Sally Rooney. Well, I've only read Normal People, but I hated it. I hated Normal People.
You may not hold the space for me, and that's okay. But that's a hill I'm gonna fucking die on.
I'm excited for this one. Historical, I'm certain. Historical, I'm pretty much like, I would bet my life on this. The Women by Kristen Hanna would have won. I just don't think there was anything in this category that was like beating it. Yeah. Oh my god, look at that. First to second book split. James I would have been interested in reading. I have read The Women, so I won't be reading anything for this, but we have got 1 out of 15 correct so far. The Book Covers Library. Okay, that's got 5,000 ratings and got 32,000 votes because people are like, oh, I love books. Interesting. Okie dokie. Well, we knew the woman was going to win. Mystery thriller, obviously, I did not get correct. There's something about, I'm really bad at predicting the winners for mystery thriller. I'm good at predicting the top 20 and the top 10, but it's almost like I know too much and I trip over myself with like theorizing things. I think this is a pretty surprising win, the Golden Woods. I would have thought First Eye wins or one of the Fridas is more likely. Obviously, the vote was split between the two Fridas, and if there was one, it probably would have beat the Golden Woods, which thank God. But I'm very happy with it winning because I really, really enjoyed it. Now, what is next? Romance. Oh, I'm pretty sure Funny Story by Emily Henry is going to have won. The only thing I think could have beat it, and I would prefer to read, is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, but I'm pretty sure Emily Henry is going to have won. Yep. Oh, it was fairly close. And then Ali Hazelwood's always going to be in third, is basically it. Her vote was kind of split though. With Not in Love, she would have got an extra 10,000. It still wouldn't have put her above it. Okay. Interesting. Well, I'm going to be reading Funny Story by Emily Henry, and I got that one right. I've read a few Emily Henrys now, and again, she's kind of like a 4-star author for me. I think I gave Happy Place 4.5, and then I read Beach Read this year as well. I've read 2 this year, and I gave that 4. But Abby Jimenez is like a 5-star romance author for me, and Ellie Hazelwood. I gave that one 4. That's my only non-5-star Ellie Hazelwood. Okay, Romantasy. I should have briefed you with this. I'm giving myself one get out of jail card where I don't have to read the winner, and if it's Sarah J Maas, which it is, it's going to be House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J Maas. I'm not reading it because it's like a third in a series of like a series that you're supposed to read after both of her other series. I'm not reading it. Yep. I'm not gonna read that. Well, I got one right. I feel like it was pretty obvious. Again, a big vote split. I'm intrigued if we ever have a year. The only year that I think this will be difficult is a Sarah J. Maas versus Rebecca Yarros year. I feel like they're on opposite year publishing cycles, where like one of them publishes one year, one of them publishes the other year. Solely because of this. Yeah, I'm not reading that. I'm not reading it. That's my one get out of jail free card. Everything else I shall read. Fantasy. I predicted The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo was going to win, but this wasn't like a dead cert again for me. I feel like maybe something could have beat it. Oh my goodness. Jesus, look how close that is. 69,000 versus 68,000. Oh, wow. Okay, TJ Klune won. Okay, I didn't even own this yet, which is crazy considering House in Serene Sea is one of my favorite books ever. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to read this. Oh, that's great. That's great. I'm happy that didn't win. I mean, obviously, I've already read Leigh Bardugo, which I think I give it a 3.5 or a 4. That's exciting. Okay, good one. Science fiction. I predicted The Ministry of Time is going to win. Let's see. Yep, Ministry of Time is one, and I have read that already, so I will not be reading this. What I'm most interested in reading is probably Annie Bot in sci-fi or Moon of the Turning Leaves, because I love Moon of the Crusted Snow. I enjoyed this again. I think it's an interesting book. Like, I can see why it's had mass appeal, and I can also see why it would be quite polarizing, but it won with quite a substantial amount of the vote again. Okay, horror is interesting. Horror is split. I went with We Used to Live Here as my prediction, but maybe I should have gone with Stephen King. It's one of the two. And I'd rather We Used to Live Here one, because I don't really want to read a Stephen King short story collection. I'm not really interested in that, but let's see. Fuck. Here's the thing, I enjoy Stephen King when I read Stephen King. I think Stephen King's a great writer. I just don't really want to read a short story collection. Short story collection on the abiding terrors of the human condition, fate, mortality, tragedy, and violence. Also rattlesnakes. How long is it? 500 pages. Right. Okay. I'm really not interested in that. But alas, we read the winners. I shouldn't be surprised. Stephen King will win. Why did I let you guys talk me out of it? I'm talking to my patrons. I was gonna predict Stephen King and you were like, no, We Used to Live Here is gonna win. Didn't even come close. Okay, debut. I also predicted The Ministry of Time was gonna win. Again, I'll be very interested to see what wins here. Let's see. Oh, How to End a Love Story. This is a romance. I don't even know much about this, guys. Romance Review features two writers with a tragic past who reunite on the TV adaptation of a famous book series. Wow. Okay, I did not get that right. Wow. Fascinating. Okay, well, we'll see what we think of that one. I'm intrigued. Oh, audiobook winner next. Okay, I'm gonna have to listen to whatever wins via the audio. I predicted 1984 by George Orwell was gonna win, because just on the 1984 by George Orwell name recognition. But this feels a little bit like a free-for-all, so let's see. Funny story. Okay, well, that's fine. I'll just make sure I get the audiobook for that. Oh, again, just for summer, why can you win? Oh, I was way off with 1984. I listened to the live audiobook was good, so I agree with that. I just feel like it's a romance audiobook. Why is it one? Audiobook narrator Julia Whelan, much beloved in the audiobook community, former actor, magical ability, wizard with accents. Okay. Have I listened to many? I think I have. Does she do Emily Henry's audiobooks? Because I've listened to them before and I don't think they're particularly notable. But anyways, that's good for me because it's not an extra book I have to read. Young adult fantasy. What did I predict? Oh, I predicted Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross, where I wasn't interested in continuing that series. It could also be what's the other one? Okay, no. Reckless or Heartless Hunter. I was saying it was going to be one of these three, but it's quite far. Ruthless Vows. Oh, okay.
Meh.
Here's the thing, I didn't actually hate Divine Rivals. I think I gave it like a 3.5, so I'm okay with it. I just don't like having to continue a series that I said I wasn't going to continue. But we'll see. I didn't hate it. So maybe this will be good. Is it a duology as well? Is this the end of the series? Epic conclusion. Okay, this is fine. We can do this. I don't really want to read it. Young adult fiction, I predicted Heartstopper Volume 5 by Alice Oseman is going to win. I think it's between that and the reappearance of Rachel Price. I think it's one or the other. Heartstopper 1. Yahoo! I've read both of these already, and I agree that this should have won over Holly Jackson because I didn't really like it. But I love Heartstopper. I love Heartstopper winning. Right, non-fiction now I'm very interested because I feel like there's some non-fiction here I'd really like to read, but I don't know if that's going to be what wins. So I predicted for non-fiction The Anxious Generation would win. I'm really interested in seeing where Disney High is going to be because me and my patron have a conspiracy theory that that's there because of us, because of me promoting it and because of them all reading it and loving it and making other people read it. It's there because of us. It's our conspiracy theory that we're actually interested in. So I'm intrigued to see. I think Disney High is going to have a lot more votes than it has ratings because people just vote for it on the name. Let's see. The Anxious Generation won. Where is Disney High? Okay, Disney High came like 9th, but 17,000 votes for 1,100 ratings is pretty impressive. Okay, The Anxious Generation, a rigorously researched assessment of adolescent mental health in the 21st century. Oh, I need to say that I won. I was correct. The arrival of a phone-based childhood is essentially rewiring the very experience growing up. Okay, I think this could be interesting because I need to get off my phone. And maybe this book will make me do it. Memoir. I predicted that RuPaul is going to win because his face is big on the cover and his name is big on the cover. And people just go, I like Drag Race. I like RuPaul. I'll vote for that. That's my conspiracy theory. I also think I really hope the Gilmore Girls one doesn't win just because I am so uninterested in that. I've never watched Gilmore Girls. I'm not interested in that, but that could win. Oh, fuck. I was way off. RuPaul got 20,000. Oh, right. Okay. I don't want to read it. This is like great for so many people, but I'm just not interested. This is like when I had to read fucking for humor last year, which I think they got rid of. I had to read that man. What was his name? I've forgotten his name. Sorry to that man.
I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
The guy from this funny show, and it's his fate. Henry something. Sorry to that man. Okay, this may be interesting because it's Hollywood, Broadway. Okay, I'm sure there'll be interesting parts of this. Maybe she does the audiobook, in which case I'll listen to that. History and biography. I think The Demon of Unrest by Eric Larson is going to win, which is a shame because there's so many in this category that I think is interesting. All the women books. Women history. We know I love women history, but I think Eric Larson is going to win. No fucking way. How many ratings does this have? Oh my god, you guys.
The woman was too stunned to speak.
It has 38,000 votes and 1,800 ratings. This is insane. Well, I'm happy. Love and Chronicle of the American Bookstore digs deep into history to illuminate the soft... I'm ecstatic to read this. I would much rather read this than Eric Larson. I'm thinking I want to read this one. I want to read this one. A lot of the ones I was really interested in got kicked out, I think. How Women Ran Fifth Avenue. Not Your China Doll. I was really interested in. There's so many interesting ones here. But the Bookshop, I am ecstatic to read. Wow. That's so exciting. And I got 7 right. I got half right. I feel like I could have done better. But to be honest, I mean, who would have thought this would have won? Because it has 1,000 ratings. Everyone just voting for it because I like bookshops. Amazing stuff. I'm going to go get my hands on these books and I will see you, well, it's currently 2024 for me. I will see you in 2025 when I begin reading. But I'm so excited. This is very exciting.
I was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in old conversations. Oh, 'cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you keep on waiting. But then you came along and proved me all wrong. I was so mistaken. 'Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby.
Hello Hello friends, as you'll have seen, I have begun reading the Goodreads Choice Awards video winners, and I have picked Funny Story as my first book to read. However, I've only really just started it, and before we get into talking about it, I want to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is Serious Readers. Thank you so much to them for sponsoring this video. Guys, I'm obsessed with this bad boy. I love it so much. If you haven't heard before, this is a reading light. I have the high definition Serious Light, and I love it with every fibre of my being. It has completely revolutionised reading for me, guys. If you haven't got one yet, you need to now, especially when you hear the deal that I've got. The light that comes from this light is so natural on the eyes. It feels like a breath of fresh air for the eyes. It generally, like, you don't really notice it subconsciously. You're not like, oh, there's a really bright light shining on my book, but it just makes reading easier. I find I read way more when I use it. I find that I read for longer. I enjoy reading more. I love it so much. I cannot live without it. Every single time I read, I use it. And I have a code to you guys, which is MEG, which will get you £150 off of a high definition light. Guys, best deal ever to exist. £150 off if you use the code MEG. £150 is a lot of money. I love it. I've had it for a couple years now, and like I said, I use it every single time I read. I almost can't remember reading without it, but I do remember I used to get a lot of eye strain, and I never do now. I love it. There's not enough words to describe how much I love it. You can, with the high definition light, I have the one where you can adjust how strong the beam is. I know that looks really bright, but it's just very dark in my room, and my camera does a great job of picking it up. So if you've ever thought about it, now is the time, because this code will not last forever, and £150 off, if you've ever thought about it, is like the best deal ever. So I'll leave it all linked down below, but I love my Serious Light so much and cannot recommend it enough. Go check it out down below. Okay, hello friends. I am only like 120 pages ish into Funny Story, but I need to talk about it immediately. I can't keep this a secret. Also, sorry if you can see Dida's toy corner down here. This is where the Dida toys live. She comes and like has a little route around. It's all her ping pong balls, all her little feather things all live down here. Anyways, I went with Funny Story first in the end because I felt like it was the thing that was most likely to get me out of my reading slump. So if you haven't watched my recent videos, I have not been reading so far this year. I read 5 books, finished 5 books in January. If you watched the Mr. B's vlog, which was my last vlog, you'll have seen I was struggling to read. I've actually then read another book off camera that you're not going to see. You will see it in a vlog, but you're not going to see it in a vlog for many months. And I really struggled to get through that. And so when I was picking which of these to go with, I was like, well, you know, TJ Klune's my favourite author here, but I've really been struggling with fantasy. I think fantasy has really been what I've been finding hard, that like extra level of like imagination. I just need something contemporary in our world. And then I thought, well, Emily Henry is probably the next author on here, on this list, that I have like read the most amount of times and really enjoyed. So I've gone with Funny Story. Oh, guys, it's like breathing air again. I'm alive. I feel alive. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Loving it.
I'm serious because I'm really obsessed.
Wow, that's
So basically what you need to know is we're following Daphne, who's about to be husband, her fiance, leaves her for his female best friend. Okay, and she then has nowhere to live. He kicks her out. He says, oh, you got a week. Don't worry, we're going to go to Italy on a romantic... Sorry, some guy's putting stuff in his skip outside just as I've started to film. Have some respect. No, I'm joking. Yeah, you have a week. Have a week to pack up your stuff while we go to the Amalfi Coast. How generous. So she has to move in with the girl's boyfriend. They both cheated on their partners and then fucked off together. And so she moves in with the girl's boyfriend and they decide to start fake dating to make them jealous, basically. And I'm just loving it. I'm kicking my feet, having such a fun time. I mentioned when I said I was going to read this in this month's TBR Cluedo, I said in that video, I feel like Emily Henry is often quite serious and I like more silly, goofy romances like Annie Hazelwood. Annie Hazelwood's just a silly fun time, right? And a lot of you said this is more silly, and it is. And it is still heavy stuff. I mean, she's been left by her prospective husband. Guys, hopefully you can't hear those noises. And if they are, hopefully they're not annoying. But at the same time, it's silly, it's fun. I'm loving their relationship. I'm loving them as characters. I'm loving some of the side characters we've got going on in it. I'm loving all their backstory. I'm loving now he's taking her on a tour around the place. I'm loving it. Yeah, I'm just loving every single second of it. I mean, I don't know if it'll be a 5-star. I mean, at the moment, it's probably feeling like a 5-star. I'm yet to give Emily Henry a 5-star. But I just think, like, regardless of how good, you know, this is like this is a book that gets you out of like a reading slump when you've been through the wars, you know what I mean? Like you've really been, I said earlier when I was filming a clip for the other vlog, I've been slump nation, population 1 me. Like it's been bad out here for me. Any book that gets you out of that is just gonna be like, you're gonna feel forever indebted and in gratitude towards it, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm really enjoying, I think Emily Henry though does have very distinctive writing style. Like you know when you're reading Emily Henry. She just has a tone of voice that's very strong. And I don't know sometimes if like you've only given that 4 or 4.5 stars before, as someone who's so writing style centric, it's like the most important thing for me is, do I vibe with the writing or not? Being reminded that like this has previously been 4-star writing, not 5-star writing, is what makes me doubt it, you know? Like her voice is so strong. So strong. I know immediately I'm reading an Emily Henry. Also, I am listening to the audiobook because this is also the winner of the audiobook. Do I think the audiobook is anything special? Not really. It's fine. She's a good audiobook narrator. This audiobook narrator does a lot of Emily Henry stuff, a lot of stuff. And I think she's a very good audiobook narrator. But I just think to win the audiobook category, we should have, you know, sound effects. 2 actors at least. You know?
Yes, I think that way. What's wrong with someone who thinks that way?
You know, there should be something special to it. And it doesn't, you know, it's good. I'm enjoying it though. I'm really enjoying listening to the audiobook. But like, should it win? No, but that's my opinion, that like you should have something special to your audiobook. Anyways, let's go upstairs before I read any more of this because I have something to tell you guys that I've been excited to tell you for a while. So let's go because I'm gonna change where we are because I might yap for a bit. Hello friends. Okay, I've been waiting a while to tell you this news because I've been taking so long to read. If I told you when it happened, it would have been right at the end of the Mr. Beast video and I figured not everyone would watch that far. So I wanted to wait to tell you. But now I'm like, holy shit, this God, I don't even talk about this.
Find the note. Find the note.
The good news is Tom and I have had an offer accepted on a flat and we're moving forward with purchasing it and hopefully we should be moved in not too long. My voice kept going up. Yeah, we've had an offer accepted on a flat. I love it. It was always my favourite place when we've been looking on Rightmove. We've basically been looking on Rightmove non-stop for like 2 years, 3 years, and so we're pretty well acquainted with what's out there, and genuinely it was always, even just looking on Rightmove before even going to visit it, it was one of my favourites, probably my favourite. But we went to see it, we fell in love with it, we put an offer in, it's been accepted, and yeah, I'm so excited obviously to kind of live our lives together, but also for what it means for the channel, you know, not being constrained to my room like we have been. Not that I've been constrained to my room, my family are happy for me to film somewhere, but usually all my family works from home, so usually there's someone everywhere. I'm actually home alone today, which is why I filmed downstairs, but you know, I'm really excited for what it means, and it's actually going to be happening quite quickly. Hopefully there's no onward chain, and so we're kind of pushing to get it through before the end of March because there's stamp duty changes in the UK. No one cares about this, but which it means, holy shit, we may be moved in like the next 2 months, probably will be. So let's think about that for a second. It's scary. I know, obviously it's the first time doing something like this. And in some ways it feels like a pressure. Like I'm thinking about furniture a lot. And I'm like, oh God, we gotta get us so far. Like I feel pressure to have it all done and ready, like ASAP, but we have like no furniture, guys, so you're gonna come on this journey with us. I'd love to know what kind of content you want to see from this move, like what videos you want to see, how much of the journey you want to be taken along with, but also any recommendations for homeware, furniture, anything to stay away from. I need to know all your recommendations for that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, I want to say a big thank you to all of you who have watched this, for supporting me and supporting my channel and making this happen. I also in particular want to say a huge thank you to my patrons, because they really have made this happen. Like their support over there is a huge reason why this has happened, and I'll probably share more of the process over there just because I don't want people who are not interested to be bombarded with it, but you know, sharing it with a more tight group of people, I think maybe like the more, you know, minutiae of it. But I just want to say a big thank you to them for being, you know, the most supportive, lovely group of people, but also making this happen. I'm so grateful for them each and every day, and so I wanted to give them a little shout out here because this really would not have happened without them. And I'm getting excited for all the kind of booktube moving content I'm gonna make, or the other content that I'm gonna be able to do for you guys. As a result of this, I've got some really big plans for types of content I want to make, and having a space that's mine and well, ours, but there'll be one room in particular. Don't want to say too much too soon, but that is ours, me and you, not me and Tom, so the rest of the place is ours. Well, he can come in the room if he wants. Anyways, I'm getting off track. But there's a lot of content that I'm very excited to make for YouTube that I've always wanted to make, that I really feel like having a space will allow. But also there's some Patreon stuff that I'm mulling over doing, and I feel like having a space like this will allow it. Guys, it's beautiful. I cannot wait to show you it. I keep wanting to show people pictures, but I want to dox myself, because then you can just like, the only pictures I have are the Rightmove pictures. You could like reverse image search. I can't wait to show you guys. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful flat in a beautiful location, and I love it so much. I love it so much. So that's the good news, guys. We've got a flat. We've got a flat. Well, it's not ours yet, but we're in the process of making it ours. And, you know, part of the reason I haven't been reading a lot is because I've been handling, the woman who's at the estate agent contact only works Monday to Wednesday, and Tom's in London Monday to Wednesday. So I've been handling a lot of the process and like going between all the people that have to handle stuff. And so I think I've been a bit stressed about that, and not just excited, and that's why I haven't been reading as much. But now it's coming down a bit, and hopefully everything's on track. We are cutting it a bit fine. There is a little bit, you know, squeaky bum time whether we're going to make it by the end of March or not, but hopefully we will. Yeah, I just wanted to share that news with you guys. We're going to have a flat, so I want to know what content you want to see, and I'm just so excited to take you on this journey and share it with you. And, you know, buying our first flat, me and Tom together, it's such an exciting time. It's such an exciting milestone. It's something that we've been saving towards together for years, probably like 3 years at this point we've been saving. So, yeah, I'm excited to spend some money, because I don't really spend money ever. I'm excited to buy furniture and buy things and wardrobes and sofas and, I don't know, plates. I'm excited to buy plates. If anyone has any plate recommendations, let me know. But yeah, I'm so happy. I love the flat. I think it's going to be great vibes for me personally, for Tom personally, for us together, for his work, for my work. I just think it's perfect. I really love it. I really love it. So I'm excited to take on the journey. Like I said, let me know what content you want to see, and let me know any recommendations for things, because yeah, we're very much newbies, and like our parents each bought of our houses like 20 years ago, so we don't really know like furniture. Sorry, just like my neck is really bad at the moment, guys. I just went to crack it mid conversation. I'm very happy. Very, 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 very happy. Can't wait to take you along with us. Shout out again to all of you for watching and making this happen. Shout out again to my patrons, because I mean, like, Patreon has been the best support for me as a self-employed creator. Like, honestly, they are incredible. There's not a day goes by that I do not think about how grateful I am for that platform, for all of you guys as well. But like, you know, monetarily making something like this happen, I am forever indebted to all of them, and any one of you who's ever supported me. I know there's lots of, you know, people come and go on the Patreon, and anyone who's ever been there for a month, for a week, I am so grateful too. So yeah, very exciting time. Very, very exciting time. Shout out to anyone who's watched a video and made this happen. And hopefully there'll be some really exciting videos to come. So I'm gonna go read Funny Story, but yeah, I just wanted to say a big thank you, because it's very exciting. I'm very, very happy. I can't wait for you guys to see it. I can't wait for you guys to see it. I think we'll do like an empty flat tour, like first day. Like, I'll just show you the rooms, and then we'll start getting furniture. We've got nothing, guys. We haven't got no furniture. Nothing. We're gonna be moving in with a mattress. I kid you not. We might not have a sofa for months. Like, it's literally like, and part of me feels pressure for it to be like perfect Instagram aesthetic flat straight away to film in. But there's also parts of it that, like, guys, that room I mentioned, just wait.
You naughty, naughty. You teasing me, you naughty, naughty.
Just wait till you see it. Just wait to see what we're going to create together. Just wait to see the space me and you are going to have. I can't. Yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go, but I'm very, very happy, and I love you all. I just, yeah, I wish I could see all of your faces and talk to you about this. Like, it's so exciting. It's so exciting. And I just want it to happen now, but also I'm like, no, wait, I'm not ready yet. But like, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful flat. Beautiful flat. What can I tell you about it? It's a little tease. It's like a Victorian house converted, and it's got a lot of like original features. It's very bright, it's got great windows, It's and it's a great location. I'm like, how am I gonna show off like how amazing the location is without doxing myself? That's another consideration. But I just think I'm gonna be very happy there. And a lot of you all know that 2024 was pretty rough for me, but particularly the end, like November, December, and January this year was pretty rough for me mental health wise. I'm deciding that 2025 wasn't my new year, it was turning 25, the end of January. That was my new year. So, you know, things were a bit dark there for a second, and I'm still, you know, in a place that I don't want to be, and I really feel like this space will allow me to get there, and for so many beautiful things to happen for me, for Tom, for this channel. So yeah, very happy. Anyways, I just want to show you it right now, but I can't. Anyways, I love you all so much, and I'll see you when I finish Funny Story. Good morning, besties. Last night I finished Funny Story, and I'm giving it 5 stars.
Was exactly what I needed.
It was therapy.
It was therapy.
Oh my god, look. We like match. Oh my god, dressed as a book. Look. We are, that is crazy. Literally the same person, me and this. No. Maybe this is like a 4.5. Maybe. But I'm giving it a 5. I enjoyed it a lot more than Happy Place, and I gave Happy Place 4.5. So I think it's a 5. I really, really enjoyed this. This is by far my favourite Emily Henry. I just felt like the characters in this, particularly the two in the romance, felt so real, felt so layered. Sometimes I feel like Emily Henry's characters have like an issue, right? They have like a trauma, they have a deep trauma, or like, you know, her books do these big topics, right, alongside the romance, and they have that, but what are they outside of that? I don't feel like we always know. I feel like sometimes that's their whole embodiment, whereas in this I feel like these characters had a lot of layers to them, have a lot of complexity. They both do things wrong. Like, he does something towards the end that I'm like, holy shit, I'm kind of crazy. I don't know if I could forgive that. Like, that's like, whoa. I could forgive that. She does things that fuck up, and they're just, I don't know, I loved it. I had so much fun reading this. I did not want to put it down. I read it in a day. I could not put it down. I just loved it, guys. I loved it. It's by far my favourite Emily Henry. I still think the book that came second in the Goodreads Choice Awards for romance, Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, I could love even more. Like, I think this could be like a 5-star. But I'm not mad that Emily Henry won for romance. I am mad she won for audiobook. Like, what the fuck? The audiobook was nothing special. It was nothing groundbreaking. Floor rules for spring, you know what I mean? That's the energy we were giving. It wasn't groundbreaking. But yeah, I just like, you know when you just read a book and you're like, oh, it's perfect. I love living in this world. I love the town that it was in. I love the friends that she makes. I love the romance. I just loved everything about it. I just had so much fun reading it. It's by far my favourite Emily Henry so far. I just had a wonderful time. Wonderful time when reading it. I don't know what more there is to say. I struggle to talk about romances. I think because it's a genre I don't read a ton, versus like something like murder mystery, I know so detailed what I want. A romance, I'm just like, hee hee, fun time, you know. I struggle to talk about them. I don't know what I'm gonna read next. I actually gotta go away and read a book for my patron book club. We're reading, let me show you, rather than a new release, we're reading like a bit of a modern classic almost. We're reading A Darker Shade of Magic, so that's why I'm gonna go away and read now and do a vlog for that over on the Patreon. But yeah, I don't know which of the winners I want to read next. I was going to read Somewhere Beyond the Sea next for a fantasy, but since this is fantasy, I'm not sure if I want to go for one of the other ones. So we'll see. You'll know sooner than I do what we're reading next, but we're off to a great start reading the winners. Good morning, friends. How are we all doing? So I ended up picking up The Wedding People next. In between, in this vlog, I have gone and read A Darker Shade of Magic for my book club. Let's not talk about it. I can't read fantasy right now. So needless to say, I will be leaving the fantasy for this video, Somewhere Beyond the Sea, for as long as humanly possible. So I ended up picking up The Wedding People next, and guys, really enjoying this. I am about 140 pages in. I got through that all in reading sprints last night with my patrons. And before I get into what this book is about and my thoughts on the book, guys, I've come to this realization. I filmed a 2024 reading stats video for my Patreon the other day, and it made me realize just how reliant I've become on audiobooks, like tandem reading, like reading the physical and the audio at the same time. And I'm just trying to like scale back a bit on my audio. So I read that last night so easily with no audiobook, just with my eyeballs. I can't believe it. So
I am so proud of her, I could cry.
So this is the winner of the contemporary category, and we're following a woman named Phoebe who turns up to this very, very posh hotel with the plan to end her life that evening. But turns out the entire rest of the hotel has been booked out by a wedding party, and she meets the bride, and the bride essentially tries to convince her not to end her life, and it's a story of them getting to know each other and Phoebe starting to realise things. And I'm really enjoying this book. It's a book that I feel like is just really well written. Like, I am flying through it. I can't put it down. I'm really enjoying the writing, the character's perspective. It feels very intelligent. It feels, but also kind of with a dark sense of humour to it. Now, here's the thing, and this is mild spoilers, but I want to talk about this, and I don't really know another way to talk about the book without talking about this. So, I don't really think this is spoilers, but if you're going to have a go at me, just skip ahead until there's no mild spoilers on the screen. So you obviously know, kind of going into this, you know, she's planning on ending her life that night. And obviously the book is not long enough for that to, you know, be what the story is about. So you know that that's not going to happen, you know that she's not going to go through with it, or, you know, not change her mind or something. And I can understand people having an issue with how the mental health side of this and, you know, the suicidal ideation side of this is handled, but I can also see people really resonating with this. I can see some people saying that it's like trivializing it, or, you know, making light of how people really feel when they have, not making light, but not, you know, not a deep enough representation of how people feel when they have suicidal ideation. The flip side of it is that sometimes when I've been in dark space in my life, I've never, you know, been in this situation myself, but I've, you know, had issues with my mental health, and I find also that sometimes you can be in that dark space for weeks, for months, for years, and sometimes it can be the most like trivial thing that flicks a switch in your brain that starts to pull you out of it. It doesn't pull you out of it like fully, but that makes you turn a corner, right? And that trivial thing could resonate with you one day and not resonate with you another day. Could resonate with me and not resonate with you. You know what I mean? And thus I personally feel like the kind of turning point for her in this is a good representation, but I can also understand people saying they feel like it's a bad representation. Does that make sense? I think it's incredible. I feel like this is a lot of books that are really focused on mental health, particularly this side of mental health, where people are maybe thinking of ending their life, like The Midnight Library, for example, by Matt Haig. I can see, if we have 100 people in front of us, like a big chunk saying, this resonated with me so much, took me back and to when I was in that place, but gave me hope at the same time. And I can see this group of people saying, I really don't think it was a good representation. And I think that's kind of the, you know, what is going to happen when you write a book of this nature. I am finding this really poignant, really beautiful, really compulsively readable. Like, I am flying through this book. I don't know, I'm really, really enjoying it, but also it's like fast paced and it's a bit silly at times, but also so deep. I think there's a lot of nuance going on with this book. I'm really, really enjoying this. Thank the Lord. I thought Sally Rooney was going to win this category. I do not want to read Sally Rooney. Thank the Lord I'm reading this book.
Thank God.
So I'm going to go keep reading it. I do have something that I actually want to show you quickly, some books. We're going to do a little mini book haul, but I'm going to go keep reading it today and probably finish it today, and I am just I'm loving the experience of reading this. Okay, so we're going to do a mini book haul. I have some books I've accumulated. These are like top tier books I'm so excited about, and then I've got a parcel. So firstly, we have some books that I got for my birthday that weren't in my birthday book haul because these were for my family. They're from my grandparents, and I saw them on the Sunday. I think I filmed the video on like the Tuesday or something, and so they didn't go in the video, but I want to share them with you. They got me some 2025 releases that I'm so excited about. We have got Watermoon, we have got Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, and we have got Bat Eater. Oh my god, what a lineup, guys. I'm so excited for all of these. I love the covers, especially for these two. I think they are such beautiful covers. And these are my first 2025 releases that I've got my hands on, and I'm just so excited from what people are saying to read all of these. Even the Grady Hendrix, which I've heard mixed things about, I'm still very excited. So I wanted to show you these because these are like big releases. Let me know which of these you're most, you know, excited about and most want to hear my thoughts on. I've been hearing wonderful things about Bat Eater. Some of my patrons have been reading it and like been obsessed with it. And then I did treat myself. This was like my birthday gift to myself because it was half price on Waterstones and I didn't know how long it would last. I couldn't resist any longer. One of my most anticipated releases of the entire year. I've got so many I might actually do like a, would you guys watch the most anticipated, reading my most anticipated releases of 2025 video like this early on, because so many of my most anticipated books are the start of the year. And this is one of them, and it's Famous Last Words by Gina McAllister. You've heard me speak about this 10,000 times. It's the one where her husband is holding a hostage situation in London. And it's like, what the fuck? It sounds so good. I've heard really wonderful things about it. I am so excited. I'm so
I think she was just genuinely excited about fucking everything.
This is like a 5-star prediction, 5+ star prediction. I loved Wrong Place, Wrong Time, and I just think this is gonna be so twisty and turny, and I'm so excited to see where it goes. And then we have a parcel. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me find the note first. Okay, these are from Esty, who is one of my lovely patrons. Esty, thank you so much. Esty just got me loads of stuff for my birthday. Esty, what are you doing? Thank you so much. Oh my god. Okay, I've just been saying I need more graphic novels. Like, I don't have a lot of graphic novels on my TBR because I read them so quickly. And we have got Crumbs. Oh my god, it's a bakery and a barista. Stop it. Stop it, Esty. Stop it. Thank you so much. Esty says, look super cute. I hope you enjoy, Esty. I'm gonna cry. I may perhaps cry right this second. I may cry. Esty, thank you so much. Oh my god, I've wanted to read this graphic novel for so long. I've heard such good things about it. I love graphic novels. And then... oh my god. 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 We have got Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Oh my... Esty, stop it. What does the note say? Listen, you need this book. This way you can also get a dishwasher. Stop it. We were talking about this on my Patreon, and I was talking about how I want to get Deep End, but like I'm not really spending any money at the moment. Famous Last Words is my last purchase. We're really saving now because we've got to save up for like, I gotta get a dishwasher, I gotta get a washing machine, I gotta get a tumble dryer, you know what I mean? I gotta get all these things. So I was saying I'm not getting anything. Oh my god, my mom's gonna read this before me, Esty. My mom's gonna read this tomorrow. Like, I am so excited for Deep End. This is up there, guys. The most anticipated releases of the whole year video is filling up fast. I have been hearing insane things about Deep End. Esty, thank you so much. This is so exciting. Wow. Dida's desperate to get in, so I've got to go let her in, and I'm gonna go finish The Wedding People, but I'm really loving it. Hello, beautiful humans. I finished The Wedding People last night, and I'm giving it 5 stars. What is happening?
Oh my god, Jesus Christ.
Check out
They've blessed me.
I think what is happening is I'm reading the books I'm most excited for first, and then I think we're gonna reach a point where, like, you know, Ruthless Vows, How to End a Love Story, the Stephen King one, like, we're not gonna get many 5 stars. So I'm just reading the ones I'm most excited about first. I loved this. If I'm in truth, it's probably like a 4.75 because there were a few little issues I had with it, but it is so readable. I think I read like the last 30-40 pages of this in 10 minutes. Like, I was reading this so quickly. It is so compulsive. I think it's so well written. I thought the dialogue in this is some of the best dialogue I have ever read. I loved the way people spoke. I loved the honesty with which people spoke. Also, can I just say, the last book I read was A Darker Shade of Magic for my book club, and there's a character in that called Lila, and there's a character in this called Lila. What are the chances of 2 Lilas in a row? It's quite a niche name. Anyways.
Is it a coincidence? I ask you. Is it a coincidence?
I really just loved this. I thought it was beautiful. A beautiful story about living. I think it could have said a little bit more, which is why it's like a 4.75. But I'm giving it a 5. You know, I'm feeling generous. I'm feeling happy. My average rating so far this year is a 3.9. What if this year is my best reading year ever? And last year was I was just too early. I was just ahead of the curve. I just loved it, guys. I think it's such a wonderful book. I think you could have said more. I think in the second half it didn't say as much, and it was more about like character arcs coming together and like character storylines and plot lines coming together. But I just can't tell you, I had such a fun time reading it. I don't think there's a lot more to say without also spoiling stuff. I think you should go into this. I went into this completely blind. I knew the vague synopsis of she's gone to a hotel to end her life and there's a wedding there. That's all I knew. And I think you should really go into it with that kind of, you know, not aware of much that's happening. But I think it's incredibly well written. I'd be really interested in reading more from this author in the future. It is got heart, if it's funny, like there's moments of humour, there's moments of real, like, it takes a lot to make me laugh in a book. I think often when books are trying to be funny, they're cringe, but I laughed at points in this. Trust me, you can read this in one sitting. I wish I had read it in one sitting. I think it would be 5-star plus if I read it in one sitting. I read it in like 4 days just because I was like, I apparently don't read, guys. I'm really struggling. Not this book, I'm just struggling to like find time to read in my life. Like I'm out of the habit, you know, so I have to get back in the habit of rebuilding that habit. I have to get back in the habit of rebuilding that habit. But yes, I'm rambling. There's not much to say other than it's beautiful, but it's messy, but it's real, but it's funny, but it's sad, but it's everything. It's everything.
Anyway, so I'm in control, but I'm out of control, and I'm also controlled. So in a way, I'm everything.
I really enjoyed it. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it that much. I think next, all I'm going to do today is read, and I think I'm going to pick up another one of the ones I'm most excited for. Or if I'm ranking it, I'd probably put funny story above that. If I'm ranking, should I rank them? Let's rank them. Why not? But I love them both. I'm picking up probably another ones I'm most excited for, and we're going to read The Bookshop, A History of the American Bookstore by Evan Friss, which I believe won History and Biography. Is that what the category is called? Very excited for this one. I don't think this expected to win. It barely had any ratings, but it won because people are like, oh my god, bookshops, I love them. Because we're all readers. So I'm just going to settle in and read probably most of this today. I feel like let's get one of the non-fictions out the way. I feel like it's time because we've got 3 of them to get through. So yes, I do also have a parcel from one of my patrons, Dex. So let's open it up very kindly. I've already thanked Dex a lot because Dex let me know ahead of time that I had a parcel coming. I don't know what it is though. We have got The Truth About the Devlins by Lisa Scottoline. Dex says, hope you love it. How exciting. Okay, this is a very interesting kind of family domestic thriller. T.G. Devlin's the charming disappointment in the prominent Devlin family, all of whom are lawyers at the highly successful firm except him, but then his older brother confesses that he murdered one of the clients and they're trying to like maybe cover it up or like, it says an investigation. What's there to investigate if your brother said that you killed someone? Does he not believe him? Oh my goodness, how exciting. Thank you so much, Dex. Okie dokie, I'm gonna go read The Bookshop. I'll let you know when I'm a bit of the ways through, but I'm very much looking forward to this one. Hello, beautiful people. Let's chat. I really thought I was gonna enjoy this. Has that been the reality? No, it has not. This book... Guys.
I can't really explain it. I haven't got the words.
It took me so long to read this book. It took me so long to read this book. And not in terms of days. I think I read it in like 3-4 days, but like 2 of those days, all I did was read this book. It took me, in terms of hours, I don't know how many hours. I don't want to know how many hours it took me to read this book. So this is, as it says on the front, The Bookshop, A History of the American Bookstore. The American Bookstore. Note that down, because that's important. This book, my main problem with it is that it's about the American bookstore. And I just kept having moments, particularly I'd say in the first half. Well, this is kind of a tale of 2 halves, so we'll talk about the first half. It's just so American. It's just so American. And I kept having moments where I think this would have been so much more interesting if it was the history of the bookstore writ large. Across time, across culture, across, you know, everything. Because it just, this first part of this book is literally just like, this man opened a bookshop, and then this man opened a bookshop, and then this man, this white man opened a bookshop.
Man.
Now, that is different in the second half, but it was just like, why do I want to read this? And I was talking to my patrons about it, and they were like, would you have that problem if it was about another culture, like another country really zeroed in? And I said no, because I just think Americans often act as if they are the whole world, you know, like they are everything, right? And I sometimes want examples of how this ties into other cultures. There was a few. I mean, I was searching for crumbs and they mentioned fucking, I don't know, Harrods in London. I was freaking out. It's so exciting. I had this same issue with Poverty in America, which won last year in one of the non-fiction categories. And here's the thing, I preferred that book. I think that is a really wonderful, important book. But when I read that, I kept wanting examples of poverty globally and a discussion of poverty globally. And sometimes it was too, for me personally, as a reader, not necessarily for an American reader, but for me, it was too drilled into American specifics, and thus I wasn't as interested. And I feel the same in this, where I think if you're American, you maybe would find this more interesting. There's things that are super drilled into British culture that I find super interesting that like people who are from different countries, from America, from Canada, from France, whatever, wouldn't find as interesting, you know? I think if you are living in the context, things are more interesting to you. So for example, Natives by Akala in Britain and how that's affected by empire, like the British Empire and the history of empire. I find that so interesting. But if you're like if you know nothing about Britain or like you haven't lived in the context, I don't think you'd find that as interesting. So for me, I just didn't care. I don't care about just American bookshops. You know, the history of American bookshops. I do care about the history of bookshops, but there was just times that this was too American, you know? I will say the second half is more interesting because then it becomes more diversified and it really has chapters on like singular bookshops of kind of diverse, you know, for diverse audiences. So there's one about a gay bookshop, one about a black bookshop, one about like communist bookshops that I thought was very interesting. But the first half where it's literally like this bookshop, then this bookshop, then this bookshop, then this man, then this man. I was like, oh my god, snooze fast alert. I also just think this guy's writing is not for me. Sorry, Evan. Sorry to that man. Sorry, Evan. But like, his writing is very dry. This book is very dry, very repetitive. It had like, I think a good non-fiction, you should never have a paragraph where I'm seeing like 20 numbers, whether it's years or like sales figures. You should never have a paragraph where it's just like year number, year number, year number, year number. And there was some of that, you know? So I'm gonna give this 3 stars because there overall was a lot of elements, particularly in that second half, I did find really interesting about hearing about this gay bookshop, but I kept wanting it to mention gay's the word. And I was like, oh wait, it's not America. Or the black bookshop, or all these things, or Barnes & Noble, the chapter was very interesting about the rise of Barnes & Noble, but I found it boring, and like, it took me so long, years in fact, to get through, so long. But yeah, listen, that's not, the thing is, Goodreads non-fiction categories are like so heavily American. Like, all the history and biography is all American. It's so heavily American, and I just don't know if that's what interests me. And like I said, I think sometimes if I was reading a really drilled down non-fiction about another country, it wouldn't bother me as much, but there's just something about the way that's American. And this is like a generalization, I'm not necessarily saying that about this book, I'm not necessarily saying that about Poverty by America, but like sometimes they act as if the whole world is America, you know? And if you live in the context, that would be more interesting to you, but I don't. You know, I like reading stuff about British non-fiction that I think some of you wouldn't be interested in. Do you get what I'm saying? So there we are. That's my thoughts on this book, everyone. I'm now going to tackle the biggest book we've got in this vlog, and it is You Like It Darker by Stephen King. And not gonna lie, I'm not super excited because I don't think anthologies are for me. Short story collections, I'm not sure about it, and it's so long. It's like 20-hour audiobook. Here's the thing, I've enjoyed a lot of Stephen King that I've read. I gave Holly 5 stars last year. I enjoyed the Mr. Mercedes trilogy. I'd say it was like a 4-star series for me. I've basically only read his books that have won the Goodreads Choice Awards, either in mystery thriller or in horror, because I have to read them for these videos. So that's basically my experience of Stephen King. But yeah, I wish he didn't win. It's boring. It's boring when Stephen King wins. And I'm not a big anthology lover, but I'll check in with you when I'm halfway through this behemoth. It's very long. Hello, it's late. Can you tell by my appearance? It's late, but I am halfway, well, I'm just under halfway actually. I was supposed to read one more short story, but I'm tired. I want to talk to you now. I'm about halfway through You Like It Darker by Stephen King. Now, in that time, we've only had 4 short stories. But what classifies as a short story is wildly differing, right? Because some of them, like 2 of them are about 10 pages, and then one was like from page 81 to 226. So how many pages is that? Like 140 pages? So that's more like a novella length that we just had. So we've had 2 talented bastards. Can I say that? I swear all the time. What am I saying? Which I would give a 3.5. The Fifth Step, which I would give a 3.5. Willy the Weirdo, which I would give 2. And then the novella length one, which is Danny Coughlin's Bad Dream, which I gave a 4, but I think that's just because I actually had time to spend with the characters. I just don't like short stories that much, if I'm honest with you. Here's the thing. Am I hating these? No. That's a good chunk of the book I just read was that novella length short story, and I, just speaking about that one, really enjoyed that one, but that's just because I got to spend a fair amount of time with characters. And at the end of the day, Stephen King can really write. Stephen King, I remember I felt like this about when I read Holly for this video last year. I gave that a 5 because it was just so readable. Stephen King is, he deserves, I think, to be seen as this wonderful author, but he does have issues. He does have issues, and I haven't covered the breadth of Stephen King's, oeuvre. There's probably a lot of issues that I am not privy to, but I think his stories often do feel the same. They often have similar rings to them. I think his writing style is very distinctive, and I think his characters speak the same. Like, his characters have similar lingo, like this weird kind of like lingo that no one actually speaks like, but all of his characters from like different parts of America speak like.
I'm not going to conversate with you. I'm not going to invest time.
I think it's
in
converse.
you. Huh?
Just say talk. I'm not going to talk to you.
And so there is that downside to it, but I enjoyed, I cared about the characters, I cared about the story, I cared about what was happening, because it was 140 pages, I had time to care. Do I think it was revolutionary? Do I think it was particularly special? No, but I enjoyed my time with it. So here's the thing, I mean, that's my lasting impression of it at the moment, because that's been a huge chunk of what I read, was that story, and I enjoyed that. It was a little bit of a speculative twist. It was, like a murder mystery, police, there's a lot of interesting elements to it. It was really short, like chapters almost in it. So that one I really liked, but some of that, like one of those 10-page short stories, I gave a 2. Oh, fucking weird. Sometimes Stephen King, I don't like when he does gross. I don't like when he does gross, I don't like when it's like, ugh, he does that sometimes, and that's not what I prefer from Stephen King. So I do really like Stephen King's writing though, and like I said, I've only really read his modern stuff, so I would really like to start his older stuff, like Misery and Carrie and like his classics. I would really love to read, because I do enjoy his writing, but he does have issues. This man has issues, like I think he repeats tropes a lot. I think he repeats character styles a lot, which in some ways is, as a reader, sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to come back to a writer that you've read from so many times before, and their writing style feels like coming home, and the characters feel like coming home. That's why I love reading something, granted this is a series, so it's supposed to be the same, but like Lady Hardcastle, right? I know what I'm getting. I know I'm getting from the writing. I know I'm getting from the characters. I know I'm getting from the plot. It's just like a palate cleanser. So I can see him being that for some people, but everything I've read from him has been tonally, even though there's been genre shifts, speculative versus not speculative shifts, like it is very similar tone-wise. So anyways, I'm gonna go read as much more of it as I can tonight, but I may just go sleep. Tom's just got home. I've got the audiobook. I'm enjoying the audiobook. It's the same guy who's done, I think, all the Stephen King audiobooks I've listened to. And we'll just see how it goes. Okay, friends, I have finished You Like It Darker by Stephen King, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a lot to say. Let me tell you the ratings that I gave the rest of the short stories, and there was a lot more in this second half. So then I read Finn, which I gave 3 stars, On Side Road, which I gave 4 stars, Red Screen, which I gave 2.5, The Turbulence Expert, which I gave 3, Laurie, which I gave 4, Rattlesnakes, which I gave 3.5, The Dreamers, which I gave 3.5, and The Answer Man was the final one, which I gave 5 stars. And he says in the, acknowledgements that that's an old story that his son found, and then Stephen King kind of reworked a little bit, and I wonder then if I'm just going to enjoy old Stephen King, because I really enjoyed the final short story in this, but that does mean my average rating is like a 3.5, and that does feel right. I'm just not a big lover of horror short stories, but this was passable for what it was. Would I have read this of my own volition? No. Do I feel like, oh, I'm glad I read this? Not necessarily. But did I have an okay time reading it? Yes. I do think Stephen King is a great author, but like I said, some of his character tropes also feel repetitive, some of his character types feel repetitive, and also a problem with this is that none of the endings are very strong. I think Stephen King, from what I recollect, does struggle with endings, and the strongest part of all of these short stories was the middle part, and all of them I was like, yeah, but how's it gonna end? I was like, I'm really enjoying this, but how's it gonna end? And all the endings weren't great, and it's just more pronounced when you have 12 endings, versus one ending you can get over, but 12 endings that are all I do feel like it becomes noticeable, and I feel like bar The Answer Man and Danny Coughlin's Bad Dream, a lot of these will be forgettable. I won't be remembering these by the end of the year. But I do enjoy Stephen King's writing. I should have a lot more to say. It's short stories. What am I going to say, So today, I'm now going to treat myself, having read the longest book we got to read by reading the shortest, and I am going to start the audiobook and eventually the physical of The Third Gilmore Girl by Kelly Bishop. I'm excited to get into this one because, it's got a super high rating. The audiobook has got a 4.9 average rating on Audible. And yes, I haven't watched Gilmore Girls, but a lot of you, since I've spoken about this, have told me that I'm going to enjoy it regardless, and the big part of it is just about her life and about when she was on Broadway, and that I am more interested in. So I'm going to start this. I'll let you know my thoughts when I finished it. I'm going to try and go back to like thoughts when finished, because this vlog, I've started editing and it's like an hour long, like already. It's more than an hour long by the point you're at, and I'm like, oh god, we've got quite a few books to get through still. So I'm gonna read this probably quite quickly this afternoon. I'll let you know my thoughts when I get through it. But yes, I'm excited, I'm intrigued. I think like a nice memoir read by the author will be interesting. So I'll let you know my thoughts when I finished it. Hello cuties, next book finished. I literally read this in like 3 hours or something. The Third Gilmore Girl by Kelly Bishop, who, if you don't know, I'm sure most of you do know, was the the Third Gilmore Girl on Gilmore Girls.
This is a potential mother.
And here's the thing, I'm giving this a 3.5. In terms of the ranking, I'd probably put it below Stephen King, just because I think I had like higher highs in that one. I feel like I predicted this accurately, saying I'm not gonna love this because I haven't watched Gilmore Girls. And everyone who told me that I would still love it gave me false hope, because I feel like a big part of enjoying a memoir is like knowing who that person is. And I don't know, I'm so sorry. I don't know who this woman is. I have not watched a single thing she's been in. Like Mr. Henry Winkler last year, I have not watched a single thing she's been in, and so there was none of it was relevant to me. It was interesting, you know, talking about Broadway, talking about the relationship she's had, talking about her husband. I thought her love for her husband that she spoke about was really one of the most beautiful aspects of this book. But also there's just something about celebrity memoirs in general. They're like stereotypical celebrity memoir that's like 250 pages and is like, this happened in my life, then this happened in my life, then this happened in my life, is not interesting to me. It's not interesting to me.
Clap if you care. Clap if you care.
When I think, what memoirs have I really enjoyed? Celebrity memoirs. I don't really read them. I mean, I love Michelle Obama's, but like, that is written with such introspection. And I feel like often these like celebrity memoirs where a celebrity's obviously been reached out to and said, would you like to write a memoir? You know what I mean? Like, they've been approached with that offer. They're not incredibly introspective. And these people aren't writers, right? I feel like Michelle Obama's, I mean, she obviously had a ghostwriter, and probably she can pay for like top dollar ghostwriter. But it had so many layers to it, whereas I feel like these ones are literally like, I did this and I did this. This is how I felt about this. It was like the layer one of an onion of introspection. There's some, but it's not deep, you know? And so I'm reading it and I'm like, okay, like it's nice to learn about her life, but I don't know who she is. If I was reading this about someone who I loved, right, I would be obsessed. If I was reading, I mean, whose memoir would I love? I'd love Sarah Michelle Gellar's memoir. Who else do I love? I don't know, one of One Direction's memoirs. Like, I'd find that so interesting, even if they weren't well written, seeing the behind the scenes of those people's lives and like the media that I've loved consuming from them. But I don't know who she is. I'm so sorry. I know like Booktube is like Gilmore Girls rabid. Like they're like, you know, like,
Oh my god. I thought this was a classy party.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it. I think it's a very American thing. I don't feel like here in Britain. I wonder what channel it aired on at the time when it came out here in Britain. I know a lot of people have watched it because it was on Netflix, but yeah, a lot of it just felt kind of surface level for me. And I think I want more introspection than that. I'm not, you know, if I read a memoir, I'm not interested in whether it's a celebrity or not. I'm interested in like what you're gonna say and the realizations you're gonna have about your life. You know, Know My Name by Chanel Miller, one of the most incredible memoirs I think has ever been written and will ever be written. Like, I think that is what I want. Not, it doesn't have to be that tender and that raw, but I want some deep introspection on something, and I just feel like often these don't. It reminded me of Henry Winkler, and it reminded me of Britney Spears' one, where like I wonder whether she wrote this or like Britney Spears sat down and did like four couple-hour long interviews about her life, and then someone went along wrote it, because it just feels like someone's leading me through her life rather than stopping at any point and really. I wonder if she did the same thing. Do you think? Let's look at the acknowledgements quickly. Collaborator Lindsay Harrison. Okay, yeah, it's ghostwritten. And as a bonus, through more phone sessions than either of us can count, we became close friends. Okay. So she like told her life to Lindsay and Lindsay wrote it. Basically. Yeah. Okay, that's what happens when you have a ghostwriter. That's what happens. I do actually think Prince Harry's one was quite good in terms of that introspection. I mean, he had a ghostwriter. But in terms of, like, making me feel like he wrote it, I feel like I did a good job. But there's issues with that one, particularly the whole army section. Anyways, other books we've got left, we've got 4 books left. We've got like 2 with like a very strong romance element. I'm going to start Ruthless Vows tonight. I need to probably read a little bit of a recap of Divine Rivals before I start it, because it's been a while, and I'm just going to do one check-in, even though this is quite long, when I finish this, because this is a sequel, and I honestly don't really remember what is a spoiler of the first book or not. But, you know, I wasn't planning on continuing this series. I think I gave the first one either a 3 or a 3.5, but we'll see whether I enjoy this second one more. We'll see how it goes. I'm intrigued. There's promise, I feel like, with this. Hello friends, I'm coming to you with what hopefully is going to be our only DNF of the video. I am DNFing Ruthless Vows. I got about 100 pages in. Honestly, I just don't care. So this is the sequel to Divine Rivals. So basically what you need to know is that these 2 characters who are journalists, and it's in this war with these gods, which I still don't understand. That's part of the problem. I don't understand who the fuck these gods are.
I just don't know where to start.
And there's a war happening, and there's magic to do with letters and these typewriters, and it's like a fantasy romance YA between them, okay? I read Divine Rivals, and I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. And then the problem is I never thought I was going to continue that series, right? And so just picking this up, I could not be less invested. I don't think this is bad. I think Rebecca Ross is an author. If she had a synopsis that I was really interested in, I'd read from in the future. I much preferred her recent adult book, A River Enchanted. I almost continued to that series, but in the end decided not to. This one, the problem I had with Divine Rivals was that it felt like every TikTok buzzword for like books at the time was just jam-packed into a book without any real thought, without any real purpose. And I just like, I don't care. I don't care about their romance. I don't care about the war. I don't understand these gods. I don't understand the situation with these gods, because they're walking and talking and breathing on the earth. I don't understand who they are, what their backstory is, what the purpose of them is, why they're fighting, really. I don't care. I don't care about any of it. And so I'm just reading it, and I'm like, I couldn't give less of a shit. But I don't think it's bad. Right? I don't think it's bad. I think it's bad writing. I don't think it's unengaging. Maybe even more engaging for like a YA audience. But I do not want to read another 400 pages basically of this book. I want to have the 6 hours-ish, 5 hours it'll take me to do that back. I don't want to spend the time reading the book, you know? So we're DNFing it. I just think, like, once you've decided not to continue a series, to then be made to continue that series, I'm checked out. I've left the building, you know? I'm not interested in continuing it. So I just really wasn't absorbing anything in those first 100 pages. Like, I'd be interested in reading a kind of, like, summary of what happens in this, but, like, I can tell you some people are gonna die, there's gonna be some tragic stuff to do the war, but, like, if I just place my bets, they're gonna end up together, safe and sound. I mean, I think we know that's gonna happen.
Do you want spoilers?
So for me, there's nothing propelling me to read it forward. I don't feel like there's any stakes, I feel like it's predictable. But I don't think the writing's bad. I think Rebecca Ross is a good writer, and like I said, if she has a synopsis in the future I'd be interested in, I'd read it. But I've checked out. I've left the building, I'm not interested. Basically what this boils down to. I'm now going to read our last non-fiction. Again, I'll probably check in with you when I finish this, because this vlog is going to be so long. And it's non-fiction, so I feel like non-fiction is often like, I just want to kind of give my overall thoughts. But this is about how the great rewriting of childhood is causing an epidemic of mental illness. So I think it's a lot about how we're like on our phones too much, etc, etc, like a phone-based childhood and what that leads to in terms of negative mental health. I'm probably going to try and read most of this today, so I'll see you either tonight or tomorrow with my thoughts. But yeah, I'm sorry I'm DNFing this. I'm sorry. I'm not going to DNF anything else in this video. I just like, again, it's not bad, I just didn't care. And so I was just reading words on a page. I was not engaging my brain with it at all. I've finished, what's it called? The Anxious Generation. I didn't love this. I found it very very, very boring, if I'm honest with you. I think people voted for this because, like, yes, we're all so anxious. We're all so anxious. Yes, oh my god, let's talk about it. I don't think there's really talk about it. This says the same shit over and over and over again.
Bored shitless! I am hearing the same conversation over and over and over again!
What this book is really is talking about how particularly social media has ruined children and we should get rid of it. Not get rid of it, but like you shouldn't let your kids be on it. There's 4 main recommendations that he gives, and it boils down to no smartphones before high school, no social media before 16, phone-free schools, far more unsupervised play, and childhood independence. And I just think this is a bit of a simplistic view on a very complex problem and a little bit idealistic. I don't think no social media before 16 is really possible in today's day and age. And listen, I'm saying this as someone who A, fits the exact age bracket that he's saying is most affected, or was the first age bracket to be really affected by these changes. You know, from 2010, I was 10 then, so like I was probably, I think I got on social media in 2012, 2013, you know, that's the age, the timeline that he says the greatest, you know, impact has been had. So I'm apparently patient zero. And then also I'm someone who does want to, when I have kids, raise them with a view on how harmful social media can be and some way of mitigating that, right? But I don't think what he proposes in this is really possible. I don't think it's possible to go until 16 without I was done with social media. I was one and done with social media by that point. Like, yes, there's so many negatives from social media, but the stuff this is saying is not something I didn't know, or we didn't know. You know, it pushes eating disorder content to girls. I still get, if I'm on Twitter and I, for whatever reason, hover for a millisecond on a piece of content that I don't realise is eating disorder content, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, scroll past that. Then all my timeline is now, this has gotten really bad since Musk took over, is eating disorder content. So that's basically that. And then it's like boys are isolated and just play games online with people they don't know and watch too much, you know, of that stuff, certain stuff online. Like, I think I learnt nothing new from this. I learnt nothing new. I thought this book could be really insightful on why we're all so anxious. And I thought maybe it could go into lots of different reasons as to why, as a society, like, we're so, I mean, I'm so anxious all the time. I'm like, why this is a prevailing problem? But really, it's just social media is the devil. Get rid of it. That's all that this book is. And I think it's simplistic. I think some cases its recommendations are incredibly privileged of what is really like a bit of a parenting manual, like what parents will be able to do in terms of limiting screen time, whether that be TV, whether that be social media. I think it's really boring. It's just repeating itself over and over again. I don't think it was written in a particularly exciting, insightful, readable way. I don't think it always, like, some of the stuff it was claiming, like the sciencey stuff, I was like, are you really backing that up, babes? I don't think this is necessarily saying anything super wrong. There is, I will warn you, I mean, from my review, you're not going to be interested in reading it, but if you were interested in reading it, there is like a page where he mentions that maybe more young people are interested in or questioning their gender identity because of like other people in their life doing it in their friendship group or viewing it on social media. So if that's something that you would have a problem with reading, which I imagine quite a few people would, then this is not for you. But it's a page, it's not some kind of prevailing theory throughout the book. Yeah, no, it was so boring, and I don't need to be told for 300 pages that you can't let your kids on social media and, oh, the good old days when they could walk to the shops. You gotta let your kids walk to the shops and print out a thing that says, I give them permission to walk out the shops, because then you won't get arrested. Do you know what I mean? It was just so simplistic, so boring, so just repetitive, so one note, droning on and on again. I'm all for talking about the negatives of social media. I think there's a lot of negative social media. I think I myself often still, at my big old age of 25, still need to step away. I'm thinking of deleting Instagram and Twitter for a bit, right now, right this second. Yes, I'm still on Twitter. It's where I get all my memes, okay? I can't step away as much as I would like to. I'm very jealous for the people who can just leave, but it's where I get memes.
So don't even get me frickin' started about sending stupid memes.
But like, it's something I'm very interested in, and I think is very true, but I think this was such a reductive way of talking about it. I'm gonna give this like a 2. It's a 2, if I'm honest with you. I don't think he's, like, saying anything wrong, necessarily, but I think it's simplistic, I think it's idealistic, and I think it's reductive. And I think it's a complex situation, right? I think there were benefits from the communities that I found online as a child. There were also negatives, but there were benefits. And this is just, like, him saying, here's the truth. Here, I am the all-knower of everything, and here's me telling everyone what they need to do. You know, that's what it felt like, and I think this is a really complex, interesting, all-pervasive topic at the moment. It's affecting everyone, and I just feel like maybe it could have been done with a bit more intelligence. So yes, I'm now going to start How to End a Love Story, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm not very excited for. I'm not a big romance girly, and just nothing about this really excites me. I've heard some weird things about the plot, about how these people know each other. We'll talk about that once I've read it. But yes, we've started the vlog very strong, and I'm hoping we're going to end it very strong on the TJ Clune, but this is our last book before we get there. So I'll let you know what I think. I'm going to just cozy on up and read as much of this as I can tonight. Oh my god, I just scrolled to like the 5th from last page, and the first line I see is your tits look great. Okay. Let's go read it, shall we? Hello friends, please excuse my appearance. It's been a bit of a day. And I can't be bothered to put makeup on, but I probably look very pale, haggard. But I can't be bothered to put makeup on. I have read How to End a Love Story. I'm going to scoot over here and tell you that I'm giving this a 3.5. Where am I putting it on the ranking? You know what? I'll put it at the top of our 3.5s because there was a moment, right, when at the ending of this, it's a romance, right? And the ending when it's like, you know, happily ever after, spoiler alert, it almost got me. And I was like, almost giving it a 4, but then I thought, no, I have too many issues with it to give it a 4, and it is a 3.5. My main issue with this is the hook. Okay, the hook of this book, I could not believe this when someone told me this for the first time. It's 2 characters who, one is a best-selling author, one's a screenwriter. Her book is being adapted and he's going to be a screenwriter on the show, but they know each other from when they're younger. This is not a spoiler, this is like the first chapter. They know each other because her sister ended her life by running into traffic, and he was the car. He was driving the car. He was the car. He was Lightning McQueen, sorry. It's not funny, but he was driving the car that killed her, basically. And just the idea of reading a romance with that hook, I immediately am a bit uncomfortable. I'm like, I just don't know if I want to read that. Like, it's not his fault. He wasn't, like, drunk driving or anything, but, like, he you know, I just don't know if I want to read that. And I thought, okay. If it's going to do that, it's going to do some heavy lifting in terms of, like, the emotional turmoil that they go through and, like, deep conversations and overcoming that. No. My issue with this is that is a hook, and then I feel like they're immediately into each other. Like, instantaneously into each other.
I am really uncomfortable right now, and I'm feeling like I want to get up and leave.
There's no, like, getting over. I feel like there's a hurdle that needed to be crossed for this book to work, and the hurdles are non-existent. They immediately just want to fuck. And I think it needs to be a slower burn of a romance, and it's quite quick. It's quite a quick burn. It's quite an instantaneous burn. And so I just found that, like, okay, I feel like something's missing here. You know? It just didn't feel satisfying, because I feel like I, as a reader, needed more to get over the plot hook, you know? But I will say, for the most part, it's just a fairly inoffensive, okay romance to me. I don't think it's, you know, incredible, but I don't think it's bad. Like, I had an okay time. I was gonna give it a 4. It got me at the end, and then I was like, no, I can't get over literally how they're just, like, they're superficial, like, oh, I don't know, or my parents will be upset or whatever, but, like, not really. And I just don't know. I think that's a bigger deal than this book is making out to be, personally. Like, not saying he did anything wrong, it was his fault or whatever, but that's just still, like, a sticky situation, you know? But, yeah, I enjoyed the kind of, like, writer's room, screenplay setting of them and, like, all their co-workers. I thought that was very fun. And I was compelled, you know, I finished this pretty quickly. I read it in, like, a day. I don't know if I'd rush, though, to read another book from this author. I'm quite, like, I like finding romance authors that I really enjoy and then just reading from them. And I just don't feel like Miss Babes is going to be added to the roster. Although if she comes out with an amazing book in the future, who knows? But yeah, it's intriguing that this like came like 18th or something in the romance category, but won best debut. I think that's very, very interesting. I just think the romance category is so heavy hitters, and this is like the only romance in the debut category, so then they all flocked to vote for this. But interesting. We're now going to read our final book. Guys, I have not published a vlog in February. This vlog has taken me a month. I'm so excited for this vlog to be done. The final book is the one that I was most excited for, most likely to be 5-star, but I have been struggling with fantasy. But we're going to read Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. I was planning on checking in halfway, but as you can see, there's stuff going on, so I don't know if I'm gonna have it in me, so I may just check in with you once I've finished it. But I feel like this is exactly what I need right now. I need to curl up with this book and be taken away to a fantastical world and with these wonderful characters. So I'm very excited. I'm really hoping I can get over my fantasy drought and get into this, and it's our final book of the vlog, and I am hoping for a very high rating. Hello friends, you'll have to forgive me, I've now got some sort of stomach bug. Life does not want to give me a break at the moment, but do you know what? I want more than anything else in the world to finish this video. To finish this frickin' video. And do you know what? We can. So I'm just going to get over how I look. I hate that I have to look at myself when I edit this. I have read Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. I sadly did not love this.
I feel completely crushed right now.
I didn't love it. I was close to DNFing this about 100 pages in. So, if you've read House in the Cerulean Sea, or if you haven't, basically this is a sequel to House in the Cerulean Sea, where we're following these adults who run this orphanage and these magical children at this orphanage, and magical people are very much persecuted in this world, and this is kind of a continuation of that, and that's all you need to know. And for me, personally, this felt like I was reading House in the Cerulean Sea fan fiction. I got close to DNFing it, then I started the audiobook, then like the story I feel like got really going about the 120 page mark, and it went up a bit, and then just the end petered out for me. So I am ending on a 3.5, which has been our rating of the video. Got like 10,000 3.5s. I'm gonna put it at the top of the 3.5s. Well, how disappointed I am in this, guys, is almost immeasurable. It's almost immeasurable. Actually, I'm gonna put it underneath How to End a Love Story. I'm gonna put it underneath that one. House in the Sea is one of my favourite books, and this just felt so fan servicey. It felt like this book did not need to be written. This was not meant to be a series. House in the Cerulean Sea was a standalone. I just felt like everything that was happening in this book was just like, okay, what? It's like what you'd read in a fan fiction of like, you know, oh, I want to see, you know, this happened to this character and this happened to this character, and it felt like a tick box of all of those happening. And I enjoyed being back with characters. For me, I think the children are my favourite characters, and I felt like this book was more focused on the adults who I don't have as much of a attachment to. But it felt like we really spent the first 100 pages of this book justifying this book existing. Like, it had to set up so much in those first 100 pages so that a sequel could exist, rather than like usually with a sequel you kind of just flow into it. Like, you've already got a reason for the sequel to exist and you get moving straight away. There was 100 pages of this where it felt like its whole reason for existence was being justified. I am so sad.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
I almost wish I'd never read this, because I feel like it has tainted my perception of House in the Cerulean Sea somewhat. My favourite points, the points where it went up for me, was like where it was really focused on the kids, and then there were just these other characters added, and it was just, yeah, guys, I don't want to talk about it. I'm really sad. I thought this was going to be a 5-star, and I'm sad about this video. A, that it's taken me a month, and B, that the first 2 books I've read were 5 stars, and then the rest have been between a 2 and a 3.5, and we've had like 4 3.5s, and it's just been so like boring. It's so boring. I want to read something good next. I feel like I'm in the need of thrillers and mysteries, just thrillers and mysteries, because yeah, I'm really sad. I'm really sad about it. Yeah, it just felt like fan fiction. It felt like this didn't need to exist, and it was trying to justify its existence. I don't really want to talk about it because it's very painful to me. House in the Cerulean Sea is one of my favourite books ever, and this one just didn't work for me. Oh god, it pains. I actually can't talk about it. I'm so sorry. Maybe one day, in like a wrap up at the end of the month or something, I'll be ready to talk about that. Today is not that day. I feel like crying. I'm really disappointed about it.
What happened? Is you alright?
No, I'm not gonna cry.
Okay, what happened?
Maybe I'll cry.
that brings us to the end of reading all the Goodreads Choice Awards winners. And when I started this video, I thought, oh my god, we're gonna have bangers here. You know what I mean? Like, this is gonna be crazy because I had 2 5 stars of books that I really think deserve to win. And then the rest of the video was just like a slow expiry into nothingness. It was like you know, the books at 3.5 aren't bad. Like, I think a 3.5 for me is like, okay, yeah, I like that. A 3 is like, that was average. A 3.5 is like, yeah, I like that. A 4 is I really liked it. A 5 is a 5. You know what I mean? So they're not bad, but it's just not interesting, you know? And I don't think they deserve to win in their categories. So, there we have it. Sorry this video took me so long and I had like no vlog in the whole of February. We should be back to normal business now, hopefully. I'm going to do a few shorter, quicker vlogs in the coming weeks that I'm still very excited about. We've got a lot of fun runs coming. So yes, thank you all so much for watching. Also, remember, any house stuff, any moving recommendations, any furniture, I need to start looking at furniture. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye!